इससे पहले कि आप बाकी क्लिप देखो बॉस, प्रेस द सब्सक्राइब बटन, प्रेस द बेल आइकॉन, बिकॉज हम यहाँ पे हमारी कॉन्वर्सेशंस के सबसे इंटरेस्टिंग, पावरफुल, फनी और यूनिक मोमेंट्स यहाँ शेयर करते हैं. PGX क्लिप्स, प्रेस सब्सक्राइब, प्रेस बेल आइकॉन. I feel like since COVID, there has been a moment happening in science, and you see,
I agree.
right? You see this with a variety of technologies. This year, particularly, medtech has just totally changed the game. You have injections that heal bones in 3 minutes. You have treatments for cancer coming out. We are going to be spacefaring soon, and there is going to be integrated computers into our brain. And so, right now, and this happened to me actually like 4, 5, 6 weeks ago. I was watching this documentary on robotics, the way China is doing it and how they're doing it. And I was like, boss, us sitting and wondering about how LLMs are going to change the world is truly like the first 3% of the picture. The rest of it is going to come from robots and biotech and medtech.
And the integration of AI and hardware.
And like we don't know what that looks like. If my father about 30 years ago could not imagine that we'd have phones and screens and all this stuff that would change the world.
Isn't it crazy like how much there's so much in this in the iPhone, and we don't even it's crazy. Like these are more powerful than the computers that took us that went to the moon.
Yeah,
and it's crazy. But like think about all this. Like this is like remember like when you saw like Dick Tracy and they like talked on it. I was like, I can talk on my watch.
Yeah,
I answered. I was in my sauna this morning. I answered my phone on my watch. And it's like that to me was like that wasn't. We are in the future. And so it's a really cool time. And you know, I think that you've got these companies like SpaceX, but then you've also got companies like hypersonic companies that are like, want to make it where you can go from like all these new aircraft. Like aircraft suck. They've been around I mean, they're amazing technologically, but they haven't really evolved that much in a long time.
Yes, true.
Now they're doing hypersonic planes that are going to be able to go from like, LA to London in like 2 hours and stuff like that.
That's crazy.
Like that's insane stuff.
I cannot wait for that.
That's the world. That's the world that we. So I don't know. I'm a techno optimist. We hear all this doom and gloom,
right?
But I just think that we're building. I don't know. I think that so many people.
No, you're building the future. You're quite literally building a future that may not even seem like that realistic right now. 10 years down the line, it will have some, but 100 years down the line, you would have successfully changed the world.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you this actually. That's a very good question. For a moment, if I were to forget all ethical, regulatory concerns, if I were to just forget that there is a world that's governed by an order that requires you to do things a certain way and not a certain way, and just purely focus on the potential of the tech. 20, 30, 40, 50, choose a number. However many years down the line, what could be the world?
Yeah, I mean, look, we spun out last year, just so you see the acceleration. We spun out a company last year called Breaking. It's just breaking.com. And it's a plastic degradation. It's a combination of microbes that work in concert to build these enzymes that every way we tune it, it breaks down every type of plastic that we have thrown at it. Every single type of plastic that we have thrown at it, it's broken down. And we named it Breaking because it's not making smaller particles of plastic and microplastics. It's actually breaking the chemical bonds of plastic. And so that's today. Dire wolves are today. Woolly mites are today. Even though like tomorrow, I think that we can engineer those super tree houses. I think that if you fast forward the clock 30 years, I think that we have cured all major diseases. I think that average life expectancy is in the 200s or further. I think more importantly, the health span is in like the 150s, 180s. I think that when they say like 50 is the new 40, like whatever age you are, you say I'm 43 now, so I'm like, so 40 is the new 30. Like I say that kind of shit now, right? But it's like, but I do think eventually, I think 150 is the new 40, right? I really truly believe that. I think that they now have. You mentioned this. They now have cancer vaccines in development. If you look at all major causes of mortality, and things from like diabetes, we've pretty much solved that.
Yeah.
We've pretty much solved obesity. We've pretty much solved. We're close on Alzheimer and dementia. We pretty much solved heart disease, right? Like I take drugs, and my cholesterol is 32. But when you're born, your LDL is 32. My LDL is 32. And so there are literally things that we have solved today. You fast forward that, especially with AI and compute, 20, 30 years, I think all major diseases are cured. And I think cellular reprogramming from an epigenetics perspective is there. They're already reversing skin, reversing it. So I think healthcare in 30 years is very, very different. I think that hopefully because of us, biobanking, biodiversity I think we will productionize endangered species, and I think we may have to tune them. Like, I think that there may be parts of the world where an endangered species or a group of species lived that is no longer habitable for that species because of decisions that we've made. I do think from a geoengineering perspective, we'll be able to change that. But I think we may say, okay, we may adapt this ecosystem of species and tune all of these using AI, and then produce them and then let them live on this other part of the world, right? So I think that we're not going to be limited based on time or space for speciation in animals, which I think is really interesting. And I think that we will be able to, I think biotech and AI and compute and robotics are all going to integrate in ways that we can't even think about. I think that we will have moon and colonies on Mars. You know, there was a theoretical thing that came out. It's not been built yet, obviously, but there was something that came out a couple months ago. I don't know if you saw this, but like, you know, we talk about all these Star Trek and Star Wars, all these shows, but like they've now like built the math for warp drives. So now they're like theoretically possible. You know, forever they're like FTL, faster than light travel, is not possible. Now they're like,
there's math for this. We can probably theoretically solve it.
Now, can we generate enough energy to produce it? Who knows? Probably at some point. But it's like, I really think that the next 50 years are going to be insane.
I feel like energy tech is something that will have a quantum leap soon, and at that point you can talk about these kind of things.
I think we're so close. Like I've met with a bunch of the fusion companies just out of general investment and curiosity, and I think they are closer. It's kind of like, it's like fusion and quantum are those two techs that are like, it's almost here.
Yeah.
It's almost here.
It's been almost here for a while too. So like, you know, it's a little disappointing for a lot of fans, but I think we're almost there.
But genome engineering and like the gene therapy promises of the 90s, people were like, oh, we're just going to get your own customized genome therapy. That wasn't really, now it's becoming a thing, right? So you know, it's 20 years late, but it's here, right? It's like better late than never.
अगर आप हमारी इन विचित्र अचित्र कहानियों का और किस्सों का और बातों का हिस्सा बनना चाहते हैं, तो आपको यहाँ पे PGX Clips चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि यहाँ हम पोस्ट करते हैं हमारी कॉन्वर्सेशन के बेस्ट, मोस्ट इंटरेस्टिंग, मोस्ट वाइल्ड, मोस्ट इंटेलेक्चुअली रेजोनेटिंग मोमेंट्स. So press the bell icon, press the subscribe button, spend some time with us.